Welcome back to the Carp's Corner podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carpenter. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to episode 3. We got a lot on the plate to discuss. A lot of big things happening this weekend. We got a March Madness coming to a conclusion, Final Four this weekend on Saturday, and then the championship game on Monday. We got big news coming out of Major League Baseball. College baseball's in full swing, NBA's in full swing. Let's dive right into it. First thing on the plate today, Oakland Athletics are moving to Sacramento until the Las Vegas Stadium is ready for the 2028 season. The A's will play their home games now at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento for the 2025 through the 2027 seasons, with an option to play 2028 season there as well if the Las Vegas ballpark is not ready by then. A big factor in staying in California and moving up to Sacramento is to retain the local broadcasting revenue. Sutter Health Park in Sacramento has around 10,000 permanent seats, way below average for the MLB, which is around 42,000 stadium seats, and has open grass seating that adds around 4,000 in additional seating if needed. This doesn't bring much worries to the Athletics, I believe, though, because the A's have averaged around 6,500 fans in the first 6 home games this year. Not much changing, and I doubt anything will change drastically with the team moving up to Sacramento. Sutter Health Park currently hosts the Sacramento River Cats. They're a AAA team for the San Francisco Giants, and they occasionally host Sac State baseball in college baseball. This is yet another kick in the nuts to A's fans, moving 80 miles north to the state capital of California. Some blame is on the ownership group who refuses to invest in talent to win, which would bring in more fans to watch and increase revenue. Some blame is also on the city of Oakland's government. The stadium is old. It was built in 1963, and the A's in the city were never really close to negotiating a good deal. Personally, I'd rather play in Vegas than Oakland. Owner John Fisher, who's been kind of receiving a lot of hate recently from the A's fans for him to sell the team, previously purchased stake in the Giants ownership group in 1992 in an effort to prevent the Giants from moving to Tampa Bay. I think partially his hands were tied with the city government, and to be able to reach the visions for the team that he has and move was inevitable. Next on the discussion points, Rockies are still off to a great hot start of 1-6. They were swept by the Cubs and are on a 4-game skid. They're being outscored 58-24 through the first 6 games. Comes out to around an 8.37 earned run average. The team's batting a whopping .218. The pitching staff has a 1.98 whip. Whip is walks and hits per innings pitched, and they have 12 home runs allowed on the pitching staff in the first 6 games. Chris Bryant, however, finally got his first hits of the season, going 2 for 4 with 1 RBI and 1 run scored in Wednesday's game. Chris Bryant is now 2 for 20 on the year with 2 walks, 3 hit by pitches, and half of his at-bats have been strikeouts. The Rockies are ranked 27th out of 30 teams in the 2024 MLB Watchability Index rankings, which was released by ESPN, only beating the Marlins, White Sox, and Nationals in the rankings. The fucking Athletics are ranked higher than the Rockies on the index. That is absolutely embarrassing. I don't think I've been more embarrassed. The only time maybe I've been more embarrassed for a Colorado sports team is when the Broncos started sucking with Russell the Trash Can Wilson. On the opposite end of that index, the Dodgers, Orioles, and Braves fill out the podium 1, 2, and 3. If the Rockies have another 100-loss season, it will be the first back-to-back 100-loss seasons in the Rockies' 31 years of being a Major League Baseball team. The worst Rockies season was last year when they went 59-103 and were 41 games behind the NL West leader, the Dodgers. Now let's move on to some more fun news and me not ranting about the shitty Rockies. March Madness Final Four being played at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium. First game on Saturday, NC State, ranked number 11th in the tournament, is playing Purdue. NC State, the Cinderella story, can become one of the most memorable moments in March Madness history with an upset over Purdue. DJ Burns Jr. is still my dog of the tourney. He is an absolute dog. During one of Nikolai Jokic's pressers, he was actually late to his own press conference because he was watching NC State and had a lot of praise for DJ too. DJ Burns could be the answer to slow Edie down. On the flip side, Purdue has been proving they are 33-4 for a reason. Edey hasn't been stopped yet. There's really no answer for Edey. I mean, hopefully DJ Burns is the answer. My prediction of this outcome, NC State plus 8.5 will cover their line and sprinkle a little on NC State money line. I think DJ will slow Edey down, but not stop him. NC State needs Edey in foul trouble early and continue shooting the ball well. I believe NC State covers, and I hope the Cinderella continues, so sprinkle a little something on NC State money line. I think the final score will be 77-73 NC State. Second game on Saturday, number 4 Alabama versus number 1 UConn. Alabama has been hot the entire tournament, averaging 89.75 points in the tournament and allowing 81.5 points against in the tournament. The shooters have been shooting and will continue to shoot, and Alabama got hot at the right moment, and they have momentum. On the flip side, UConn has won by 17 points throughout the tournament, holding opponents to a 53.5 point average. My prediction, Alabama covers 11.5. Since Alabama has been averaging 89.75 points per game, it isn't a fluke. They can shoot. I think Alabama finishes the game with 80 to 85 points. I don't believe Alabama is going to give up 90 or more points. I think this is going to be a 1-2 possession game at the end. Alabama covers. Final score, 84-81 UConn. And on to the last segment of the day, Carp's 14ers of the day. Today we have a good question of the day. Reasons you say shit. Now, I was thinking about this at work today, and there's a lot of reasons why you would say the phrase shit. Period. Not shit, exclamation mark, not oh shit, just shit. So at number 4, I have you zoned out and missed your exit. You're driving along, listen to a podcast, listening to some music. Your maps doesn't have the audio on. You don't have Siri telling you when to turn, and you kind of zone out. You notice about 3 seconds too late that your turn is in 150 feet and you cannot make the turn. What do you say? Shit. Number 3, you forgot to move your work clothes from the washer to dryer on a Sunday night. Now, I've had this happen a few times where I've had to stay up a little in order to get the clothes dry and folded and not wrinkled before work started. But that moment that you realize you're either sitting on the couch watching Sunday night football, watching a basketball game, watching some college baseball now, or watching the Rockies suck, you kind of realize at 10:30, why am I not hearing the dryer running? Shit. Number 2 on the list, anytime or anywhere you realize you run out of nicotine. That's happened quite a few times, especially at work or when you're at something important, a dinner. You've just finished dinner, you reach into your pocket, you open the can. Shit. Hey, can I borrow one of those? It's not really borrowing, but you let someone borrow when they need one. And number 1 on my list for Carp's 14ers of the day for the reasons why you say shit is you leave a curveball middle, and the guy hitting absolutely was sitting off speed. This has happened quite a few times in my history of being a pitcher. 4 years of being a pitcher at Quincy University. Nothing is worse than throwing a curveball. You got him, let's say 1-2, 1-1. You got to throw a strike, but you can't just throw it middle, and you release it. And the moment you release that curveball, you say shit. And you just pray that he isn't waiting for it and doesn't hit it an absolute mile. And that concludes our segment of Carp's 14ers of the day today for reasons you say shit. Number 4 was you zoned out and missed your turn. Shit. Number 3, you forget to move your work clothes from the washer to the dryer on Sunday night. Shit. Number 2, anytime or anywhere you realize you are out of nicotine. Shit. And number 1, you leave a curveball middle, and the guy hitting absolutely was sitting off speed. Shit. And that's going to wrap us up today for this episode of the Carp's Corner podcast. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Look forward to watching basketball this weekend and seeing who makes it into the championship game for March Madness. Hopefully the Rockies turn it around and stop absolutely sucking, because that would make my life a hell of a lot easier and not having a whole segment ranting about how the Rockies blow. We have a big weekend ahead of us. Lock in. Let's have fun. Thanks for tuning in. See you Monday.